Man, today is chilly. I tell you what, it got cold for sure. Yesterday, Saturday, coached football in the morning for Brody's fifth grade team, and I was sweating. Today, totally different story. I'm not going to beat a dead horse and talk about a lot of weather. I feel like that's something I talk about every week. The ups and downs, the yo-yos of the weather patterns. I think at this point, we all understand we just have to deal with it, take the punches, roll with it, go fishing, make it happen. So, because we did see it all again this week, as usual. I will say one thing, we need some rain. The water levels are dropping, they're lower. We have not got much rain the last few weeks. That would be the only thing weather related that I might kind of be hopeful. Get a little rain in the water, change things a bit. We'll see what happens. Not sure exactly how much we have predicted this week, to be honest. It is what it is. So this last week, man, we caught fish a variety of ways again. I'm going to hammer down on some stuff. I got something really cool new to show you that I'm excited about. I teased it on my social media pages with the cats out of the bag on a new head, a new Ned head. We'll show you that here in a second. I got a couple of them laying here. I got a chance to play with these for a while, help develop them. Have a little bit of say. The team at All Terrain, I think, came out with a home run here. We'll talk about that in a second. Caught fish a variety of ways. My favorite way to fish, I would say, generally speaking, is when I can really throw and launch and crank and retrieve moving baits. I just like how it is. Maybe it's my personality. I don't want to sit still. So when I'm casting, I'm reeling in, I'm doing things, it seems to be more my cup of tea. And with that, I've caught a lot of fish this last week on swim jigs, chatterbaits, swim baits. The chatterbait bites are really starting to turn on. The water temps are starting to just teeter down and stay there. They're not doing this anymore, right? And once water temps start to teeter down and consistently drop, that's when I see that shallower bite pick up. That's when I see that shallower moving bait bite pick up, whether it's a shallow crank, the chatterbait we talked about. Spinner baits will be a great presentation here towards mid to late September into fall pattern. That stuff I love because you catch a lot of fish, you feel very productive, you cover a lot of water, and they just thump it, and it just gets me excited. I will definitely flip and pitch a lot of jigs here the next several weeks. That's definitely a fall pattern. Jig fishing's an all-year-round pattern, actually. You can catch a fish on a jig, it seems like, all the time. So I'll oftentimes slow down this time of year and fish topped-out pieces of grass, expansive main lake flats, productive spots on these flats. Now, not all spots are created equal, and what I mean by productive spots is if you have a giant flat, look for the tips, the points, the areas nearest to the deepest water. Maybe if there's some hard bottom because you're aware of that. Give yourself an advantage by looking at high percentage spots, spots that are not just your run-of-the-mill, typical, expansive, nothingness weed flat. Hard bottom, something different. Inside turn, weed point, deepest edge to breaks. Look at some of that stuff, and that's generally where you get your biggest bites. We're talking about bass fishing. Real quick on the crappie side of things, I had some conversations recently with some anglers about crappie fishing. They're still related to summer patterns. I have anglers say, I want to go out there and still enjoy some pan fishing. I want to go catch some crappies. They are still on the weed lines, and they're easy to spot. Pay attention to your electronics. I can roam that edge with my Lowrance, put it on side imaging, and I can see these schools of crappies very effectively. And even more so when I'm on the bow of the boat and I'm working a weed line for bass and I'm panning around with my active target, my forward-facing sonar, I can clear as day see these schools of crappies. So the advantage we have nowadays is the technology and the electronics we have give us the ability to easily find these schools of crappies. So what I wanted to get at is they're still in their summer patterns. They're not making any crazy movements. The water temps have not dropped enough for them to make drastic changes. I know we've had some cold mornings. People want to start thinking everything's changing. Slow down just a little bit. We're not seeing as much change as you think. So when it comes to the crappies, they're still fishing the weed lines. They're still schooled up. They're still relatively easy to find. And when you find them, they're relatively easy to catch. I'm going to pitch a small twister tail at them. I'm going to pitch a small minnow bait. I might even slow roll an underspin right through the school or a small swim bait and bring some fish home for dinner if that's what you want to do. So the bass fishing, though, has been superb. I love this time of year. It's only going to get better. We have a running joke going on that I feel like once it's Labor Day and the kids go back to school, half of our anglers here in the Twin Cities just stop fishing. And I don't fully understand. I can get it because things get busy, school, sports, fall sports, activities. I get it. I would encourage you, if you're listening to this, to not quite hang it up. Maybe leave the boat out a little longer. Maybe leave the dock in a little longer. Now, if your hands are tied and it just has to happen, I totally get it. But I'm only saying that selfishly for you, because I really feel like the best is yet to come. September through the first few weeks of October are some of my favorite times of year to fish. The fish move up, they're hungry, they put the feed bags on, they're 20% bigger, usually in size, because they start to balloon up. It's a great time of year to go fishing and catching. So, all right, that's my only piece on that. Now, jumping back into the bass world, I told you there's a new bait out there, a new lure that I've absolutely fallen in love with, and it's the brand new Hail Mary Ned Head from All Terrain Tackle. This is awesome. I got it rigged up a couple ways on how we've caught a bunch of fish. It comes in 5 colors, handful of the best sizes, from more of a finesse application to a heavier jig head, and it's got a football shaped head to it. It's kind of unique for a true Ned head, I guess. People kind of say, well, is that really a Ned head? My best way to put it is probably a hybrid. It's got a longer shank barbarian hook, great plastics keeper, and it's got that football shaped head with a very flat underside, which is designed to butt up to your favorite Ned plastic. So very versatile. You can fish a jig worm, you can fish a creature bait, you can fish a Ned plastic. But I have some people asking me like, hey, with all due respect, is that really a Ned head? My best way to put it is it's probably a hybrid. It's probably not what we're typically used to for a Ned head. Very short, stout, stocky body and frame. It's gonna have a little longer shank, but absolutely pairs up nicely as a Ned plastic. And what I have in my hand right here is a Ned ringer. This is my favorite Ned bait from Mr. Twister, called the Ned ringer. You can see it still pairs up just fine with that Ned ringer, but it also pairs up just fine with the Kamito or your Senko. So now you're gonna have a variation of options, of versatility here to fish a longer plastic, your Ned plastic, a creature bait, whatever you might have. And that barbarian hook is super mean. It sticks them extremely well. I'm telling you, I've had a chance to fish this prior to its release. I've been fishing it hard this last week since it was released, and we're catching a pile of fish on it. Durable, well built, all terrain, in my opinion, has a home run with that Hail Mary Ned head. So a lot of spinning rod stuff with that. That's what's catching some fish. Moving baits are starting to really turn on, like we said. I predict this next week. I'm going to have chatterbaits tied on, spinner baits. I got a spinner bait tied on. I'm going to have both these variations of the Hail Mary we just talked about. I'm going to be flipping a jig. I might play with a crankbait. All of that stuff's working. So I'm not trying to overwhelm you. It's the time of year where you just get in the water and start casting away. I'm probably going to be wearing a sweatshirt. It feels like the next week or so. I think the highs are only in the 70s. My storm skinner, my soft shell Gale from Blackfish gear is going to probably be on my body to start in the morning time. I might peel down to a sweatshirt. I might be into a sun shirt, depending on what happens. It's that time of year where you just don't know. Throw a few extra garments in the back of your pickup truck in case you need them. And if you don't need them, no harm, no foul. Oh. So that's what we're looking at. I'm excited. If football season's in full swing, it's super cool. If you're a Vikings fan, great. If you're a Packers fan, too bad. Sorry, I'm just kidding. If you're a Packers fan, cool. If you're a Lions fan, hey, you're off to one heck of a good start, beating the reigning champions on Monday Night Football, or Thursday Night Football, sorry. And a whole lot of fun coming at you. So get out there, have some fun, enjoy September. We are into September. Kiddos, hopefully school is going well for you. If you started last week, if you start this week, best of luck. Thanks for watching. We're going to do these reports probably through the middle of October, so we got a handful of weeks left, and then we switch gears to ice fishing shows. So best of luck. Have a great week. Get out there, catch some fish, be safe.